Good morning, good morning. Can everybody hear me?
NUWE, Nuwellis. Nuwellis reporting that it's offering 15.24 million shares.
Good morning, good morning. Can you guys hear me? Good morning, good morning.
QUBT, QCI launches project to build and operate new quantum computing chip, optical chip manufacturing research facility. That's
Good morning, good
Executive
morning.
Bravo Tango.
Just waiting for a few people to get in here.
Rocket Lab selected by NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory to supply solar panels that will power NASA's mobile robots as part of the Padre program. That's Romeo Kilo Lima Bravo, RKLB. ETOO, T2 Biosystems, highlights multiple new studies demonstrating improved rapid detection for several patient populations. Tango, Tango,
Good morning, brother. Can you hear me? Or do you have a microphone on? Or if you could hear me, just type in yes. Okay, cool. All right. So I'm not sure if you guys did the homework yesterday. Now I don't see Russo. She's probably here somewhere. But I'm gonna go ahead and get started. It's recording. It's streaming to YouTube. Let me shut off Benzinga.
Accepted to post a presentation at Dermatology Conference.
All right. So yesterday we were talking about these ranges, and if you guys could take a few trades on them yesterday and let me know what was going on. I see that you don't have a, you're not able to hear or speak. I'm not sure why that is. I don't know if it's something I'm doing on my end or not. But anyhow, we had this first range that came out yesterday, right after this, the big sell-off here. And this really would have been, let me get that off of there. Make it white. We're going to save it as the default for now. So this right here would have been your range. All right, there it is. And all that news is coming out now, which is good. It'll give the market a few minutes to decide what it wants to do. So this was your first bar to break out of that range. You would have entered right here on this red bar with your stop. You could have put your stop here or here. Either one would have been okay. With such a big bullish move to the upside, that would have been a good trade. Again, I wouldn't have been really looking for anything. And one of the things that I have that you guys don't know that I use, and that's how I determine, the average true range in some of the videos I did, that, the NASDAQ typically moves $300 every day. So that indicator is called the average true range. You can find it right here. I went ahead and put it on our charts. It's going to help you out a little bit better than that other one, since they don't have a projection oscillator. But if you look out here on the daily time frame, this will tell you that the average true range on any given day is right at about $350. That means on any given day, the NASDAQ will move an average of $350. And that changes, of course, with the different time frames, right? So every hour, the NASDAQ typically moves about $120 every hour. All right, and this will tell you in the time frame you're on, and that's how you can better determine where you want your take profit to be when you're in a trade. All right, so we're using the 2-minute time frame. So on a 2-minute time frame, the average true range is about $20. All right, so when you're coming out of these, when you're breaking out of these moves, and the average range of a 2-minute candle is $20, you want to put your take profit maybe at $10, right? Do half of that as a new trader, as a beginner trader. You know, take half of the average true range as a profit target. So one trade would get you $20 if you took a $10 take profit. All right? So as a new trader, this will be more beneficial to you than anything else, looking at that average true range. So yesterday we got, if you watched that video I made after we formed this, I don't want to start moving these around. But anyway, here is another range. And that's what I wanted you guys to do for homework, was to, and these aren't going to be perfect because I really don't want to move my lines around. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time with this. Are you kidding me right now? No, not there. Am I doing something wrong? Alright, so there was one range. And then we broke to the upside again. You had another range. This was kind of a big range. And if we move that up, you have your entry bar. Again, looking at your average true range, you're looking for a $10 move, okay? So do half of that. This one happened to go from 45 to almost 80, so it may double the average true range. But again, when you're starting off, even on the simulator, just you want to make sure that you're gonna get filled. You want your take profit to get hit. All right, I want to build that confidence up in you guys in your trading level. All right, most of you guys probably aren't consistently profitable, but I want you to get there. Right, this here would actually be a bigger range, and I put this wrong, so let's get out of there. So in the simulator account, that average true range would be great. This is your range where your no trade zone would be, so don't get it confused with that. All right, so you had plenty of good opportunities yesterday as far as finding a range and taking a trade. So you had one, which I went and covered right away. You had 1, 2, 3, and that probably would have about done it. This one here, you wouldn't want to trade it because we have so much overhead resistance right in that area. So that's pretty much it for the homework. Mike, if you had a microphone, I would like to see if you took any, or if you did, just type it in there. You know, if you did take a trade, if you were able to identify a range and take a trade with your stop loss and your take profit, you know, just let me know if you did that or not. And then coming into today, all right, my chart looks like it has a lot of lines on it and messy, and it does. But my thinner lines here are just areas that we could potentially see a reversal because of these areas right here. All right, remember, you always want to look left. All right, so I didn't make those lines that big. And notice already, we already did have a reversal there, right? But the big lines that I have drawn, okay, the big lines that I have drawn are for major areas where we're going to have support. All right, these are major target areas. All right, we have little target areas, and then we have major targets. All right, so the little targets are just what they are, right? They're little, tiny little targets. Again, I don't want to confuse you guys with a ton of charts. Russo, are you there? Oh, Hello? Is that you, Russo?
No, that wasn't me. It might have been Mike.
Oh, I heard somebody. Well, I didn't even know you were in here. Good to see you. I had my microphone turned way down, too. I just heard a little something. All
It
right.
could have been Jason, possibly.
That was me. I'm sorry.
Oh, I hear you. All right, cool. Well, now I can hear you, too. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. So did any of you guys mark off any of these zones yesterday, now that I can hear you? And take any of these trades? It's all right if you didn't.
I did not. I literally was, after we, had our morning session there, I had to leave, and I didn't get back till late last night.
But that's fine.
And, yeah, but I'll take care of it this weekend. I'm going to do it.
Yeah, that's
Still could do it.
Even if we could do that by Monday, just to get, I just want you guys to be able
absolutely.
to identify the areas that we're looking for, right? So I want to discuss, I got up at like midnight last night. I started working on the boot camp again. Sometimes I can't sleep, and I go to bed also super early. Usually I'm in bed by 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. But anyhow, I want to talk about this range with you guys right here, because we haven't had a chance to talk about this kind of range in such an area, in a major area or a major zone. So what I mean by that is if you went left, right? If you look left, let's see. I don't want to lose all these lines. I don't know what the deal is with it, but let's go to the hourly. Okay, so on the hourly, today is what, the 14th? So this would be 10:10. This would be Friday's high. All right, and I marked off Friday's high because notice not only is it Friday's high, but last week, if we were to draw that line out, it would fit perfectly. So that's a major area. Whenever you have areas where it's going to connect like that, that's a major area. So back to the 2-minute chart. We haven't talked about that because we haven't had a range in one of those yet. So in this range, if you guys saw this range this morning, and I talked about it in the pre-market prep, but as you notice, for some reason this line wasn't showing. And I'm gonna make a phone call with them today because I have several questions for them, like why did these lines disappear, right? Because that's huge. All right, it's huge. So we're just I'm gonna have to find out what they say and how they could speak to that, because you really need this information. But we haven't had a range in an area like this since we've been talking about it. So if we take this, and this is really gonna drive me nuts. Like sometimes it'll work, sometimes it doesn't. There we go. All right, if we take this range, all right, and I'm not doing the no trade zone. I just want to get the bottom of the line so you guys could see it. All right. If you guys took this range, and it's granted it happened overnight. All right, it happened. This was at like what? This area happened at like 2 in the morning, but I think when I went live, I was right in here. But I just want to discuss this with you. All right, we have the 50% mark, right? We have our high, our low, and this candle right here broke out, right? That would have been. And as far as you guys taking it, this is just hypothetical because I know you're not going to be up at 2 a.m. to take that. But if you did, I would have still told you good job because you did the right thing, right? And if you put your stop loss right here, it would have still been a good trade, right? Okay, a bad trade is when you don't have a high probability setup, when you don't have any idea of why you're taking that trade, right? That's just not trading, it's gambling. All right, when you're trading, you're waiting for the highest probability setups that you could possibly have, which is why I'm starting teaching you guys the range setup, because it is one of my favorite setups to trade. All right, and especially when the market's moving. All right, you can make a lot of money with this setup, so I want to hone in on this one first, and then we'll go to other setups and strategies. All right, but so that would have been a good trade if that's all you knew about, right? But what we haven't talked about yet, because we haven't seen it yet, is when we have a range. Remember, I'm always telling you guys about location, location, location. All right, when you have a range in a location like this, where you know there's going to be support and resistance, all right? So we already moved up massively yesterday. First we sold off, and then we regained it, right? And now we were in this range, okay? So in a range like this, you don't want to trade the break of the range. You'd want to trade the break of the zone, okay? The break of the red zone that you have marked off. And how do we mark that off? We go from, I'm not going to go back there now, but we go from the close of the candlesticks to the left, and we mark it off to the close of the wick. That's how we get our range, our resistance level. That's how I do it, okay? So when you're in a specific location where there's going to be an area of major volatility, major congestion, right? You don't want to trade the breakout of the range. You want to trade the breakout of the resistance level. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense to you guys. I don't know if we're still live. Good morning, Bocce. I see you.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah. Mike is here also.
good morning, guys. Mike, Jason, Bocce, and anybody on YouTube. I don't know who's there, but notice.
So I just want to ask a question real quick.
Yeah.
You're talking about the resistance line here. It has to break out on the top.
On this resistance line?
Yes.
Yes, that's the one we
No.
just looked at to the left.
Right. So that would actually be both support and resistance
Well,
for that
you're right. and
trading area.
I'm glad you brought that up. So, yes, because at the time, this should have been a green line, but I marked it off red now because now we traded below it, and then we came back up for the retest. So you're 100% correct. This would have been, before that happened, this would have been a support line. All right? It would have been support, and you wouldn't want to trade it, especially to the downside, until you had that confirmation. You know what I'm saying? Your better trades would have been to the upside, but notice, to the upside, this didn't give you any trades, right? So if you're listening to what I'm telling you, let's go ahead and move this up. And again, I'm just doing this for you guys. If you're listening to what I'm telling you, it never gave you the opportunity to go long. And I hope by now you would know why you wouldn't go long right here on this bar, right? What do I always tell you? Big moves going up to a resistance area never work, and you're on the ground floor. So I hope by now you would know you would never trade that breakout. All right, that's where the dumb money is. And I'm not saying that to be mean, but that's just what it's called in the stock market terminology. That's what people call it, dumb money. All right? And that's what I'm going to refer to it. I don't want to make up new words or lingo, but that's called dumb money. All right? There's a lot of traders that trade breakouts, but they don't know where to trade them. Okay? So, I'm really glad that this happened overnight because now we're in a major area. And again, even if it did break out to the upside, like here, again, you got the big bars coming up. But again, you have that overhead resistance, another overhead resistance to the upside. So your profit target is going to be very small. And I don't know if, Bocce, if everybody was here when I talked about this, the average true range, I want you guys to add that onto your charts. And I said it in the beginning, I'll say it again, but that's how I told you guys, on average, the NASDAQ moves 300 points per day plus. And if you go to the daily chart, I'll just jump out here real quick. Notice the average true range, okay? On an average day, the NASDAQ, this ticker that we're trading, moves 350 points, right? So the potential to make a ton of money is there, right? And that changes on every time frame that you go to. Every 30-minute bar moves an average of, between $50 to $100, right? You're looking for that proximity of what it moves. And the reason I want you guys to use this now while we're practicing, and this is a great tool for any day, right? It's a great tool for any day. But it'll help you determine your take profit. All right? So just what I was saying when we first started. All right, your take profit, if you're going to come out of a range, right? If you would have took this bar, you would have entered on this bar with your stop loss here or here, right? That would have been a pretty big stock, but you have space below you. There is, I know this because I already looked at it earlier, but there is, right where it stopped, a level over here. See? Look left, notice where it stopped. But you still have plenty of room to make money. So the average true range is between $15 and $20. So from this bar, if you look over here, where you would have entered at 106, you could have just set it for, let's just say, $10, all right? And that would be kind of pushing it, in my opinion. So you can come right to here, and there's your take profit, all right? Just to be safe. While you're practicing, be safe, all right? You know already, you would have already known that you had this much room to run. So that could have been a really good trade, right? But then, just like I always tell you, when we break, you're looking for the retest and then the continuation, right? I know you guys have seen me draw this 100 times. When you break, you're looking for a retest and a continuation, right? When you break, you're looking for a retest and a continuation. And I keep telling you that because that's how the market moves, all right? Look at the move down yesterday. What did we do yesterday when I told you guys about the measured moves, right? We did what? We broke and we came back before we went up. And I showed you guys about the measured moves yesterday, and we ended up making 4 of them in this little time period. But I don't want to be jumping all over the place, but the measured moves I have been teaching you little by little, and we're going to get into that next. But if you take this as a measured move, you got a measured leg there, and then this is the same bar, I'm not making it any bigger, all right? And let's just go here. There's your second leg, and then your third leg, which is almost identical, right? I could have sworn we had 4 legs yesterday. 1, 2, 3. Maybe it was just a 3-legged move. But that's how the market likes to move. 1, 2, 3. Right? A 3-leg. We have 2 and 3, sometimes 4-legged moves in the market, right? The market likes to make moves in 2s or 3s or 4s, right? So, as you know, we're going to talk about it every day, so don't try and fill your head with all this knowledge, because right now we're not trading measured moves. When we trade those measured moves, those are the profits that we're going to be looking for. That's going to come when we start upping our size in contracts, but it's not going to come for a little while, right? So that is almost a 100-point move in each measured move. All right, guys, the way that I want to structure this with you guys is we're not going live again until you guys can all comfortably tell me for homework, where you would take a trade. And when we're done with the live, I want the next day, I want you guys to be able to take a trade by yourself. And we're not doing anything until you're there, right? Until you're able, like I said in that video, if you guys watched that video yesterday where I was like yelling at the end and I specifically mentioned you guys in the cover of it, because I want you guys to get to that point where as soon as you open up your chart, you're like, all right, cool, we're ranging. I see this. Are we in balance for the overnight session? Are we 100% net short? Are we 100% net long? I want you guys to be able to be at that point just with this one strategy before I start throwing in more things on top of it. All right? Get good at that and get that under your belt. That's what I want. Because eventually, once we do one contract, we're going to turn that into 4 just on this strategy alone. And then we're going to start setting profit targets, all right? I can't stress it enough. Making big money in the market is easy to do. But I don't want to show you that way. That's just like in the past. I didn't want to trade my account with you, all right? Because it's for all the wrong reasons to do that, right? If you see somebody trading X amount of dollars and you can't do that, I just won't do it. I will never do it. But what I can tell you is if you stick with me every day, within a year, we'll be trading the NASDAQ and not the MNQ, and you'll have the potential to make between, and I don't want to say between, but you could make up to $25,000 a day in less than an hour. I promise you that, if you want to trade the NASDAQ, all right? But, and I won't say in a year, in 2 years, you don't want to put your risk that high you don't want to, let me just be quiet. there's plenty of money to be made here, guys. You're not going to make it, in the first 6 months. You're not going to make it in the first year. I'll just leave it at that. There's plenty of money here. Once you know what you're looking for, right, you can come in this market and it's literally your ATM machine. All right, you're not going to be taking 1,000 trades a day. You might take 3 or 4, but in those 3 or 4 trades, you're going to make more money in one day than you ever would working a full job in 1 month. Even just taking 1 or 2 trades once you know what you're doing. Because you're going to know when to go in big, you're going to know when to go in small, you're going to have a feel for the market at that point, right? If you look at the market this whole entire week, it's just not giving us the opportunity to go big. Okay? Look at the market. I mean, this is Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. Very tight range, right? Now, look at, this is the daily chart. What is the average true range on the daily chart? Oh, no, this is right here. It's still showing $350 on the daily chart. Hang on, let me get this off here. But you're not seeing the big moves that you need, right? We're just kind of going sideways and ranging, sideways and ranging, sideways and ranging. That's what the market's been doing for the last few months. So you have to be able to identify that stuff, know when to go big, know when to go small, right? Yesterday, that one trade that I took, where I was all excited with you guys and said, oh, it happened and blah, 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 that would have been a place to go big. All right? That would have been go ahead.
Are you recording?
Yep, and streaming to YouTube. Yes, stop streaming because it automatically records it, which I love, so I don't have to worry about it. So what time is it? It's almost 9 o'clock. All right, so even here again, can you guys, wait, let me back up. I said this morning we had this, and I wanted to know, does anybody know what this is? Do you guys know what that pattern is that I showed you this morning? Let's get it in here. Do you guys know what that pattern is? And it probably goes back further. Yeah, it does. Right? That's called an ascending wedge. All right? And 9 times out of 10, an ascending wedge is going to sell off to the downside. All right? And vice versa. When you're down and you get one of those, it's going to break out to the upside. All right? So that's what I was asking you this morning. Do you guys know what that would do? And don't worry about it. The boot camp is going to be filled. Not filled because I'm not teaching you guys useless junk. All right? Like you could buy books online about chart patterns, and you could buy, I see these guys selling decks of cards and stuff like that. The patterns that work and the patterns that you're looking for, or good traders are looking for, there's not many of them. All right? So I'm only going to give you guys what's worth it. All right? Because I don't want you guys trying to remember 500 chart patterns that rarely ever happen, and when they do, they never work. Right? Does that make sense? But anyhow, right here in this little area, right, we started getting that cup formation, right, for a cup and handle. And like I said, in the stock market, they work, but they're more like of a pennyland stock type of a setup. They do work here. They're not going to work like they do in penny stock land, right? They might work, but in the penny stock land, a cup and handle would be just like this, right? You wouldn't have this choppiness, right? So you have to keep that in your back of mind. When it works in penny stock land, it's because you have, if you go to any ticker now that's trading in penny stock land, there's probably 80, 90 million traders waiting for that penny stock to explode. And all those traders, right, those books are good for those traders because a lot of the patterns that you're looking for in penny stock land will work because you have 80 million people that are starting to see it form. And then you just, that's why they work so well in penny stock land. But what works in real stock land, I'm going to teach you in this boot camp. And I'm going to make them like PDF files. You could download them. You could print them out. You could keep it. You can make a little book out of it so you have it with you. The boot camp is going to be something like I've never seen anything out there like what I'm putting together for you guys. And it's going to be awesome. I'm super excited for it. But it's going to take time. All right, even day 2, it should have been done 2 days ago, but the way that I'm wording it and how it's coming out, I just want it to be perfect. All right, you know, when I do something, I put everything I have into it. So it might take 2 months, it might take 4 months. I don't know, but when it's done, it's going to be one of the most powerful trading tools you'll ever have in your arsenal. Right? Because I'm designing it that I could give it to my daughter, 10 years old, and she could take that and learn how to trade. So be excited for that. All right, so go ahead.
In the beginning, you mentioned how to find that resistance level. You were saying something about the candle close at the top there.
Yeah, let me remove these. All right, let me see. These I made kind of small, but let's just go back from here over to the left here. Yeah, now maybe right here you could see, and this one's kind of thick, but I just did these kind of quick. But if you look at where the candle closes to where the tail is, if you notice where we did the other ones, they were both bottoming, right? Here we have coming from the upside and the downside. But what you want to do is, when you have these bottoming candles, right, that line where we just drew, all it had, we didn't have anything coming up. We only had them going down, right? So let's just say this was 2 weeks ago, and this was last week, and that's where we drew that line. The way I drew it is off of the wicks, okay? So if the wicks look like this, you want to draw your line all the way across from the body of the candle to the end of the biggest wick, and then go across. So this way, when you have an area like that above, you're not looking to take that trade until you close outside of that. All right? And that's only true in those major areas. All right? It's not true like in these areas. In these areas, you don't have to worry about that. Just in major areas. And even in these areas yesterday, we had nothing to the left of us, right? But if you looked at this bar from the open here, 11, let's just call this 1100, and we came down to 1500. So that made a 600 point move in 2 minutes. Now the average true range for a day you just saw was like $350, maybe $400. So what should that tell you in and of itself, right? Now remember, for the whole week I've been saying, if this sell-off was going to happen, what have I been telling you guys? That in my opinion, it would have already happened, right? I've been telling you that, guys, for 2 weeks now. Like, nothing feels right. You know, they're holding it up here. They're holding it up in this level. So when you have your average true range day like this, you know, this is a given. I know one of you was telling me yesterday that you had put options, and I was like, why didn't you close it out at the bell? That was like right here. You would have had a beautiful thing, but you didn't know the average true range, but you know, the average true range was doubled. But you had all this space between the 200 and the 20. You know, this really only had one place to go, right? Back to the bank. Remember, I said they're not going to, I told you that live yesterday. They're not going to keep selling it off, right? They're going to bring it back if they're going to keep selling it off. And what causes these ranges, guys? You know how I told you yesterday the market likes to range and make a move, and then it'll range and make a move. So in these ranges, this is what's going on, all right? Like here, okay? The ranges, now that it's sold off so much, we know they're not gonna sell it off. And these bars is what I tell you why the market makers and the big money have to trade the way that they trade. Because if they traded every day, this is what every other candle would look like. All right? They'd be massive. They would be massive candles, right? So when you think about it in this range, right? In this range, remember I told you this bar took out everything all the way back to Monday, right? So they were probably selling little by little, you know, selling, ripped it up, and then they caught the bottom, you know, they caught the bottom, and then what did they do? This is what happens in a range. This is why ranges happen, all right? Remember, if it was, you know, if our money could move the markets, the markets would react or move nothing like they move now. But what happens is in a range is because now that they've sold everything off, right? So what are they going to do? They're going to start buying little by little, right? They're going to buy little by little, little by little. Maybe 5,000 or 5,000 shares, 5,000 shares, 5,000 shares, 5,000 shares, right? They're testing the waters. They're like, hey, if we buy it, is everybody else going to buy with us, right? Boom. Okay. All right. People are buying it. Cool. Right? So here they start loading up again, loading up again. Now that they know they're going to have followers, right? Now that they know others are going to follow their lead, right? They're buying again, buying again. Then you get that massive move because here they were buying 5,000 shares. Here they're quietly buying 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, right? They're loading it up even more and more and more. And once the market maker pulls that lever and releases all that money, you're going to get a monster move, right? Same thing here. And now are they adding? You know, the news came out, I don't know what it was, right? But that's how ranges work. That's what's going on behind the scenes inside of a range. They're either buying or they're selling. And then they're going to flip the switch and they're going to tank it or pop it up. That's what happens inside ranges, guys. That's why ranges happen all day, every day, right? We'll get those ranges. And some days we don't. You know, you've all seen those days where the market opens and it just shoots straight up. But prior to that, you had areas like we have, you know, the last couple of days, the last 2 weeks, where it does nothing but range bounds, right? So have they been adding money all this week? You know, they very well could have been, right? They very well could have been because, like I said, if the sell-off was going to happen, in my opinion, it would have already happened, right? That's what I was saying. You guys remember that, right? I said it just about every day. But these are the things that you'll learn over time and you're in the market, which is, that's one of the big reasons why even from way back when I told you guys, it's always better to focus on one or two stocks and leave everything else alone. Because you'll become one with that stock, and that's another reason why I just can't beat futures, you know? I mean, I just love futures. And even after we're done training and you guys kind of do your own thing, I mean, there's great, you got oil in futures, you got gold, you know, you could trade the MES, which is indicative to this, same thing. You could trade crypto in here. You know, there's a lot of stuff. You could trade the Dow. You could trade whatever you want in here, you know? So there's plenty of opportunity in the futures market, right? And I think gold, I don't remember whether it was gold or oil, but one of them pays $20 per dollar move. And I think you only need the same amount, $100 to trade one contract. I don't remember. I was playing around with them, and I was like, I am not trading that with the group because, you know, that'll blow up your account real quick. But once your funds build up, right, you don't want to sit here doing one trade. What am I even trying to think of? This. What is it called? I'm lost for words. One contract, right? On the MNQ, you know, take at least 10. Once you have the account, right, take 10 contracts and make money, right? Because, so 10 contracts would be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 10 contracts here would be equal to 1 of the NQ. So you wouldn't want to do that here because you're going to pay, what are you going to pay? Like $25 for it when you go to the NQ, and it's going to be equal 1 NQ, right? So that wouldn't make logical sense to spend $25 when you can go to the NQ and only spend the $1.44 to get in and out. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense to what I'm saying. But that's why you would want to eventually, and maybe some of you won't. Again, you've seen the money that we make in here. You know, this is, in my opinion, you know, trading the futures market is an excellent place. I think every beginner trader should be forced to trade the futures market, in my opinion, because you're risking very little money, right? You're making $2 per dollar move, which has potential because it moves a lot, right? And you're able to trade, and that's what you need to be able to do. You need to be able to practice, right? You have to be able to practice. In my opinion, the whole PDT rule just sets people up for failure Because who really, in all honesty, as a new trader, and we were all there, so I know how it is. You know, this is what happens, even in the penny stock land, right? You'll come up here, and you don't know what you're looking for, and here, perfect example. Let's go back here. You don't know what you're looking for. You only have 3 trades. You already used 2 of them. And now a penny stock ran from $2. It's up to $15 now. And you just woke up. You came and you're like, oh, look at this. It's getting ready to break out, right? So what do? You go and you put your whole account on it, because that's what new traders do. Most of them anyway. Right? And then what happens? You lose it. Now you're all mad. You slam stuff down. You break stuff. You shut your computer off. And you don't learn anything. Right? So in my opinion, the PDT rule, I know why they put it in place, but it's not helping anybody. Right? Traders need the ability to trade freely. They need the ability to practice. And again, the simulator, I was always one to be against the simulator, because, you know, if you don't have somebody like me teaching you and is so adamant about trading 1 contract, not 10, don't trade anything more than you're not going to be able to trade when you go live. Take 1 trade and be right in that trade, right? Don't just trade to trade, right? If you want to trade to practice, to get to know the things, do that, all right? But you have me here. I'm here. I want to be your mentor, right? I'm here to help you guys. This is the thing, like I said yesterday. It doesn't matter whether you're a trader, whether you're a doctor, whether you're a lawyer. If you love what you do, you never have to go to work a day in your life. I know plenty of doctor friends or lawyers that just love that. Like the guy Morgan & Morgan. He became an attorney because his dad got hurt and the attorneys they had screwed him. So he vowed that day that he wanted to go out there. That's why his thing is Morgan & Morgan for the people. He loves his job, right? So he never has to go to work a day in his life because he loves what he does, right? If you don't have a passion for trading and you don't love it, and you're just doing it because you want to get the money out of it, it's not going to work for you. You know, you literally have to have a passion for this. You have to, you know, I love trading. I absolutely love it, right? I mean, every trader in the world looks forward to Mondays. They just love Mondays, whether you're profitable or not, like I said in the videos. But that's why I'm teaching you guys. I love trading, right? I don't need your money, but I would love to help people reach their trading goals. Right? That's another thing that irks me with all the gurus. And, you know, you get a lot of new traders, they want $2,000, $5,000 for their course. How many people you know that are going to fork that up and then have additional funds to trade with? I mean, are you kidding me? Yeah, there's a lot of people out there that can afford it, and they do, but they're wasting their money. Right? Just like I used to talk about something, I'm not going to mention it anymore, but, you know, you could learn most of their strategies by watching their videos. Right? Save your money and just watch their videos. You'll learn their strategies just by watching their videos, you know? You don't have to pay a dime for it, and that's the other thing. I told you guys 100 times, I am constantly watching other traders' videos just to see, because every now and then you'll find a diamond in the rough. You will. You'll find something that you never knew. You were like, wow, you know, is that true? You know, so, you know, I watch a lot of garbage. I do. But I also watch, and it amazes me, some of the YouTubers out there that have huge followings, and they don't know how to trade. And I'm like, how are all these people, you know, they're teaching these people how to lose money. Like, you know, this one guy, he's got like 40,000 followers, and I would watch him trade live sometimes, or I watch his replays, and right here, he would just be like, yeah, you know, this looks good, I'm going to go ahead and sell, and then it goes against him, and then he'll be like, well, you know, you win some and lose some. No, that's not how it is in trading. You don't win some and lose some. How do you have $40,000 and that's your slogan? You win some, you lose some. You know, come on. I've never seen him once in a live video give any reason why he's taking a trade. He might say, well, you know, we're coming up to an area, and this is what he would do right here. I kid you not. He would be like, look, we just broke that resistance. I'm buying. And he'll buy. And I'm like, are you an idiot? And forgive me for saying that. But, you know, I get a chuckle out of watching it, and sometimes it really does bug me because of the following they have, and how did they even get that following? The only thing I could think of is like Wall Street bettors, you know, like people who are just, you know, they want to see the big wins or the big losses because it gets them off or something. I don't know, but it just amazes me, you know, it really does. And That's why I want to be very selective with what I do teach you and what I don't, what I leave out, you know? I want to teach you guys the best of the best, the cream of the crop. I want you guys to learn this one strategy for now, right? And then we'll move on, you know, then we'll move on to measured moves. But if you guys are thinking, you know, if we start trading with this one strategy within the next couple weeks, I honestly think we'll have the potential to grow a live account, and you could pull out $1,000 for Christmas. That was my ultimate goal, but I don't care if we do that or not, right? What's going to determine whether we do that is if whoever's ready to go live, when you're ready, we can go live in a separate group, right? After our live stream, we can go live and start trading, or before. I would actually like to go before if not everybody's up to it, or we'll have to figure out how we're going to do it, right? I'll probably have to have 2 sessions. One session for my traders who are ready to trade a live account, and then this session where I'm just teaching people and going over things and stuff like that. I don't know. You guys let me know, but we're definitely going to have to break it up, because when we go live, I don't want to be discussing everything we're discussing now. Just like you, I have to be able to focus also. And doing this and trading, you know, I'm missing a lot of things. Go ahead, Russo.
So are we looking at another ascending triangle?
Let's see. In all honesty, this would be more of a bull flag, right? You got your flagpole.
Oh yeah.
And these
Okay.
work really good. You know, these.
So I just drew with the white lines like you have. You know, it looks like a triangle.
Let me back out and see.
Before, you know, not what's happening right now. Before that.
Oh, I got
You know
you.
what?
I got you. Yeah, you're doing this, right?
No, what you actually drew already, the white line down here,
This one?
it's already on. Yeah, that one and the one below it.
Oh, okay. I don't know what that one was there for. Let me see. Hang on. Give me 1 second. Let me get this off. Oh, actually, that one we could keep, I think. Let me see what that one is. All right. I'm going to remove that one because I already A-ray lined it. But no, that wouldn't be an ascending triangle, because the ascending triangle is going to form over a big period. You know
Okay.
what? You know what I'm saying? It's going to be over a larger period. It's not going to be such a small one
So
like
you would-
that.
So you would go out to a larger time frame. Is that what you're saying?
No, you wouldn't go out to a larger time frame. Let me get this off of here. But it's still going to happen on the 2-minute. But like, let's see. This possibly, you know, you possibly could have had a triangle forming here. You know what I'm saying? But it's not. That would be a descending, not an ascending.
Okay.
But again, the descending ones are going to happen on the bottom, right? And the ascending ones are going to happen in a bull move. The descending will happen on the bear move. Does that make sense?
Yes. Thank you.
You're very welcome. And that's good. That's what I want. You know, that's what we need to do now, is just you guys ask questions, you know, ask away. But yeah, with this strong move, what time is it? It's 9:19. You know, why don't we see if you guys, does anybody out there have this ready to go to trade, fake trade, simulation trade? But
The money in, but it came out of my account, but it didn't hit Tradeovate yet. I'm waiting.
I didn't know if Bocce or anybody else out there was ready to set up and trade. But anyhow, what we're looking for now today, right? The news is already out. I don't think there's anything else up on the economic calendar today. I think we're done. Yeah, we're done for the day, done for the weekend. It's a Friday. You know, Fridays are typically kind of quiet. Some Fridays are off the charts, which is awesome. But, you know, we had a big week. We already had a massive move from yesterday into today. But, you know, today could just be a monster rip day. It could be one of those days. And these are the price targets that we're looking for. Um, if we're gonna, continue to the upside, the one thing that I don't like, well, I wouldn't even say I wouldn't like that because of the big bars leading up to it. So that would exclude that false breakout because of the big bars leading up to it. But here's your flagpole.
Looks like everybody's still waiting for their money to hit. Mike, myself, I don't know about Bocce.
Okay, yeah, no, and that's fine, right? I mean, this is what I'm saying, though. Do you guys think that that's a good idea to separate the two, right? Whoever can prove to me they're ready to trade their live money, will trade, from 7:30 to 8:30. Those times I love trading earlier. The earlier the better for me. And then maybe guys could take one trade on your own after that, but I really wouldn't want you guys trading on your own with your live account, until you're really, really ready. So even when we do go live, I want you guys to not trade when we're not live. You know what I mean? Be patient.
Absolutely. Yep.
Right?
I don't want to trade live until I know that I know that I know.
And I don't want any of you to trade live until you know, just like you said. And that's why I want to keep these two separate, right? I want to have my live traders that know what we're looking, you know what I mean? Because I don't want to be explaining this in the live sessions, because we're going to have to eventually break it up, because when we're trading live, we all need to be focusing, and we'll be talking as a group, right? We're looking for this, we're looking for that, but I don't want to be going, this is why we drew this line, this is why this is here. You know what I mean? I really want you guys to be ready to trade live, if that makes sense. So I want to keep the noise in one room and the focus in another.
I mean, like for me, I don't know if I can't speak for anybody else, but some of the videos you did this week, the homework for last night, I'm working, so I won't be able to really get to that till this weekend.
And that's
so I don't want to skip over stuff. I want to do it, well. I'd rather take a little extra time and do it well than rush through it.
And that's what I would want to hear. I would definitely want, everybody else out there that is in that situation. And that's another thing with trading, that so many people get wrong. Trading is a job in and of itself, right? When you're a new trader, a lot of people have lives, they already have jobs, they got kids, they're married, they have lives, and that's why a lot of people don't make it in the trading world because of what trading actually requires. Trading requires your full attention. It really does. So for people that are working, doing all this other stuff, if you're going to put that attention and you're going to make the time for it on the weekends, that's awesome because that's what it needs, right? I'm going to help you guys cut that curve, like down to a quarter. But, if you're just working a day job, spend 2 to 3 hours a night. This market is open. It doesn't move that much, but it's open, right? You can watch videos. You can shut your screen down like this, right? You can watch YouTube on this side, watch your market on this side. You know what I'm saying? But get that knowledge, get that screen time in, right? That's what you guys need the most, and that's what people don't realize, right? You could literally train yourself if you sat here for 5. Most professional traders, they'll tell you their average losing time span, before all the YouTube and all this other stuff, was typically between 4 and 8 years of pure losing and frustration, right? Our day and age we live in now makes learning so much easier, but now what people lack is the willingness to learn, right? We live in this we have to have it now society, and trading doesn't offer that like the world does, right? Trading requires time. It doesn't matter. Trading's not bending to the world's rules of I gotta have it now, and that's why so many people quit this game and they give up. But if you sat here for 3 years, 8 hours a day, you're going to see patterns. If you focused on this ticker, every single day religiously, you're going to start noticing stuff, right? You can't not notice stuff. And that's what it requires, But I'm here to show you what you need to look for, right? That's why I want you to learn this pattern. That's why I'm telling you how the market moves, right? The market ranges and it moves. It ranges and it moves, right? It ranges and it moves. I want to cut that curve in half for you guys because I want you guys to learn. I want you guys to become profitable. This flag isn't looking so good anymore. But we just keep drawing it bigger and bigger, excuse me. I'll stay on for another 10 minutes after 9:30, so 9:40 I'll end it. So, you guys got any questions or anything you want to ask right now?
Well, thank you, Bang Bang, for this. This is really incredible.
You're
Appreciate
welcome. Again, this is why I don't want your guys' money, you know, because I have a passion for it, like a veterinarian has a passion for animals, right? That's why I get enraged when I see the prices these people charge, and they're not telling them, you know, nobody out there should be allowed to. I mean, a lot of them have gotten sued. You saw Raging Bull got sued, and they had $200 million of people's money that bought their courses. You guys remember them, Raging Bull and the other guy? The other guy is back now advertising, but they would be like, whoa, I just made $50,000. And it was like, it was so fake. I'm like, how could anybody even buy into that, you know? And then there's a couple other big names out there that got sued by the Federal Trade Commission and the SEC and all, you know, all those people for promising people that, right? You're selling them false hope, right? And that's the problem with so many traders now is they have the mindset that they're going to become a millionaire in a couple weeks. Now, you guys remember during COVID, you know, every other Facebook post was a new trader making, I made 10, or some of them were showing 100, 200, $2 million profit, you know, YOLOing on options. But guess what? You don't see them anymore, right? You don't see any posts like that anymore. Why is that? Because they lost it all, right? Every trader will get lucky, right? But luck runs out real fast in the market. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this is incredible.
Yeah, I mean, the market, but also then during COVID, you know, remember, the market went straight up, right? It tanked at the initial onset of COVID, but then it just went straight up again, right? So it was hard not to make money because, you know, remember yesterday I told you guys the market, when it goes up, it likes to take the stairs, and when it goes down, it takes the elevator, right? You know, you always have to give the bulls, even the new people, credit, because when the market does move up, it tends to not stop. You know what I'm saying? You'll have your little pullbacks, and, you know, a lot of the big money, if this is the bottom now, I'm telling you, we're going to see a major move higher today because they're loading up, right? They're going to be loading up on the bottom, and with moves like this from yesterday, you know, we could very well see a massive move today. Because they're loading up big, you know, we're getting these really big spikes, right? So they're adding a lot of money here. Now, what they have on their side, and this comes back to another reason how the market is rigged, is how easy is it to short a stock? You know, now they're opening up brokerages like Trade Zero, where you can short, but they don't have all the stocks. They charge an arm and a leg to short the stocks. But even on Thinkorswim, you could short on Thinkorswim, but only certain stocks, right? And you got to have, if you're going to short, you know, Apple at what, I don't even know what it's trading at today, but let's just say $200 a share. Let's just use that as an example. How many shares could you possibly short? You know, if you're going to short, you want to short 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 shares, and the average Joe trader is not going to do that. The average Joe trader, the new traders that are coming in, they don't know how to short the market, right? That's why, you know, when the market goes up, you're always better to take the long trades because that's where the average Joe is going to be. And that's what the market counts on. And that's why it was always so difficult to short the market, right? Because if they could keep you on one side of the market, right, then they own you, right? Think about that for a minute. If they could make one side of the market super easy to trade but not the other, they in fact own you, right? Because once it goes up, they'll rip it right down, take all your money. Say thank you. Hey, you guys want to play this game again? Look, we're going up. And everybody's going to pile in. Because not that many people have the ability or the funds to short. If you're under the PDT rule and you only have $5,000 in your account, are you going to short Apple? Are you going to short it for, Apple has an average true range of a few bucks a day, right? So are you going to short that? Are you going to take 10 shares and short it for a $30 profit? No. And they know that. The market is designed, you got to understand how well it's designed and why it works the way it does. And, the fundamentals, the internals, the engine, why does it combust? Why does it do what it does, And it's designed, to take people's money. I've said it 100 times before. It's a glorified casino. But just like in casinos, you have people that are able to read and count the cards, right? You have those people, and that's why the casinos fight so hard to keep the people that can play their game. They don't want them in their house, right? The market is the same way, right? They don't want people to play their game in the house, but unfortunately they need us also. So on the same breath, when you figure it out, when you figure out how to count the cards in the market, you're a consistently profitable trader, right? And then the house does nothing to you. They can't, because you figured out their game. But figuring out their game takes years and years of learning and understanding. Figuring out where they're putting their money, where they're buying money, right? Like right now, we opened up 100% net long. So what are they doing? The market doesn't like to be 100% on one side. The market always likes to be in balance. And again, the balancing part comes with the ranges, right? They're balancing out the positions. They're adding or subtracting their funds, and then they're going to give it a little test run, right? So if they're buying down here, they're letting it test right in the range, right? Okay, people are following our lead. Let's add more here, right? Let's add more here. Let's test it again, right? And the same thing vice versa. Let's sell. Are they going to follow our lead? Yeah, they're following our lead. Cool. Let's sell. Now let's drop it. All right. So it's all a game like that. That's and I don't necessarily want to call it a game because I don't want to give you the wrong impression. It's a financial market, right? It's Wall Street, but there are ways to get around how they operate. Once you're on the same team, it's so much easier, right? But most traders aren't going to dig deep. You know me. I dig into everything that I do, and I won't stop till I get answers. So, that's really what you need in this game. But that's why I have so much knowledge about how it works and where price works and all the internals of it, right? So you got to have some type of a handle on what's going on, because if you're just in here trying to trade chop and the noise, that's why you lose. You might win every couple of trades or so, but you're going to lose more often than you win. So yeah, that's my spiel for today. But I guess right now we're just kind of in that range. But anyhow, even if you guys have options on other on Thinkorswim or anywhere else you're trading today, right? Just be mindful of where the market wants to go, right? Let's see what we do inside this range. This would be my determining factor today. All right, This is what I would use. Why is this doing this? I really don't understand this. Hit rectangle. Maybe I gotta let it go. Point and let go. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. Okay, I'm doing it wrong. Alright? I would use this, and this is a really big range, but let the market tell you what it wants to do, right? If you're gonna do that route today, and this is a big range, but it's for a reason. Be on the right side of the market. All right, typically we'll use the 8:30 to 9:30 time frame, which is right in here. Well, no, now that box will be really big because this would be your time frame. So that's almost identical to what I drew. Look at that, huh? So yeah, wait, be on the right side of the market. Okay? I think we could potentially see a really big move today, right? Because if they're going up, they're going to go up. And you guys should know that. Let me remove that. I don't need that anymore. But let it do what it wants to do, right? Are we still going to continue higher on this pullback? Right? We had a large wick here, so that's good for buying. So I'm going to go ahead and join the bid.
Order filled. Order filled.
So that was really quick. I guess my take profit is really tight. I got to go fix this. Yeah, it's 750. Let's turn it to 1550. And let's see if we can get filled right at VWAP. The banker's candle.
Order filled.
There we go. We got filled at VWAP. Now, if I took that trade, if I put it up any higher, we would have already been stopped out.
Order filled.
Right? So again, there's locations you want to be a buyer and not a buyer, right? Remember, VWAP is your friend, okay? VWAP is your friend, and what I actually did wrong there was that bar didn't close, so we didn't have that big topping tail like I thought we did. But again, you know, putting my order where I did and not chasing it, right? See, that's the difference. If I would have chased that and put my order in here, we would have just lost $30. All right? But when you want to be smart about it and you want your best chance, put it at the bottom of the candle. Even if you're not near the VWAP. We just happen to be at VWAP, and VWAP is a very popular place, especially for a reversal. Right? That's where the bank is. So when the money's outside of the bank, it's going to want to come back, right? People want to do business. People want to buy or sell, right? They're not going to just let it run away from VWAP forever, because all the big money isn't going to be able to buy anything, because they're never going to be buying up here. You can take that to the bank. You can take that to the bank. Sometimes I make myself laugh.
Oh boy.
So we got double bottoms right here. Let's see if we come back to the halfway mark. And then I'm going to put my stop right below it. See if we'll get filled at the halfway mark. Remember, you never want to chase the stock. If it goes without you, it goes without you. If it forms a really big green bar up here, that's an excellent bar to get in on the next bar, right? But, you know, we don't know what's going to happen. Right now we have a double bottom, but guess what? This candle hasn't closed yet. That could just as easily reverse down on us, right? Again, they're fishing. Every bar, you got to think of it as fishing. That's why when I say I scalp, I wait until that bar is really overextended, and then I'll scalp in the opposite direction, right? You could scalp every bar on the NQ with one contract a day and literally make $1,000 a day. Just scalping every bar. You could make 10 times that amount every day on the MNQ. Just scalping one bar every day, every single bar. But it gets boring after a while, trust me. Alright, so we close with a double bottom. Now, I'm going to bring notice where I brought that, if you guys could see it. Let me get rid of this. I don't want to get rid of it. But can you guys see where my buy would be? Which it's going way on without me now, so I don't think we even have a chance to come back down there, but I'm not going to chase it. I'm going to let that bar finish, because we could come, but we have a lot of strength right now. And we got the 20 right here. So now we're kind of in that zone, right? Are we going to just bounce off the 20 and continue the downward move? But again, this is why it's so important to have your opening time frame, and why I wouldn't recommend, here's your opening time frame, right? We're still within that 1 hour range, right? So if you could scalp it, sure you can, but we don't have a direction yet, right? So the 20 right now is pretty much irrelevant, because we're still within the first 1 hour range of the opening day. But like I said, it's strong, a very strong close, and I wasn't talking, or we would have scalped that bar right at the bottom. So let's see what the next bar does. And again, it's this would be the area where I tell you guys not to trade, right? If you looked at this as a range, right? Because now you have everything you need to start a new range, right? You have your top. Let's mark it off here. You have the top of your range. You have the bottom of your range, which we're just going to call the 830 movement. So you have that area marked off, but now here you draw your top and you draw your bottom, and now you have your no trade zone, right? So we shouldn't even be trading in here. And what you're seeing now, you know, we could break out of that. But again, this is one of those time frames where you just, as a trader, you want to be extra cautious. because it's the opening range. We haven't made a decision. We haven't broke above it. We haven't broke below the 8:30 mark. Remember, this 1 hour is an important time frame. All right, very important. Right? Are we going to break above it, or are we going to break below it? Right? So we can use this right here to start off our new range, and then we would have our no trade zone, because you're going to use this point and this point as your new range, because this is where we took our first reversal after the open. Okay, so now you have a range again, and you have your no trade zone. All right, so we just made another range. Now, unlike the other day where I said we're just going to sit here and range all day, I highly doubt we're going to do that today. The market's just making its decisions right now.
Order filled.
What did I just get filled? Oh, great. I was in that. Again, see? It was hiding in the red. I didn't even see it. But I think we should be able to get filled. We don't have our take profit very far. But let me bring it down just a little bit more to guarantee it.
Order filled.
All right, so that's what I was telling you. Remember yesterday I said hit, exit at market. I couldn't tell you how many times I've done that. And it's not good.
Bang bang.
Yes, ma'am.
So, right now what you're teaching is setting ranges and trading in ranges.
Right.
I'm looking at my screen, and I clicked over to 15-minute, and if I look at the VWAP, it had a nice candle, and then a confirming green candle up. So, I guess my question is, if I'm trading ranges, it looks one way, but if I'm trading VWAP 20 and 200, it looks
right.
Another way.
The 15-minute is a chart a lot of bigger traders use as well. But for you, if I'm trying to teach you guys on a 15-minute chart, it's going to wreck you. You know what I'm saying? Because even on this 15-minute...
So what I would do is do a 15.5 and let's say a 2-minute.
Right.
So I wouldn't be, nervous to trade. I wouldn't be jumping out of trades as quickly on a 2-minute if I was looking at a 5-minute and a 15, consecutively, so to speak.
Oh.
And I was using the 20 and 200.
Right.
So I guess what I'm trying to find out is, right now you're strictly trying to teach us use trading in ranges, which is really, really safe.
Right, and you could
At
find
what point
these...
you'll use everything? I'm a little, unclear.
I just want you guys to start off on the 2-minute chart, trade in the ranges. Like I said, you're not going to learn I'm not going to teach you everything all at once. I want you to focus just on the 2-minute chart. And again, you have some experience, right? And that's why you're able to discern those things. I showed you the other day, I have the 15 and the 5 and the 2, but I also have the 30-minute and the hourly, because I'm looking at different things, right? Because, yeah, you could trade off of a 5-minute chart. There's a lot of traders that trade off the hourly chart. There's a lot of traders that trade off the 15-minute chart. But I want to teach you everything you need to know on the 2-minute chart, because whatever I teach you here, you could put on any time frame you want and do it there. If that makes sense. Like right now, on the 2-minute, we're at the VWAP, right? And right now, on the 15-minute, we're at the VWAP. You see what I'm saying? On the 15-minute, we still have ranges, right? We still have the breakouts. Like I said, what I'm teaching you, it doesn't matter what time frame you're on. The same concepts are going to apply across any time frame, which most traders can't do that. Most traders can't teach a strategy on different time frames, right? So trust me when I tell you, I'm not going to bring you down the wrong path, right? Even yesterday on a 15-minute time frame, right? You could have traded that range, right? You're going to draw it a little different to fit within that. You're going to have more wicks, but on that time frame, you're going to buy the breakout, right? You're going to put your stop down here, but you're going to have a much bigger risk, but you're also going to have a much bigger reward, because on these higher time frames, you're trading, you would put your stop here, and you would expect this to come back up to here. Notice how on the higher time frames, you're looking at higher areas of profitability, right? Or where on the smaller time frame, when we're looking left and you're looking left on a higher time frame, it's going to show like two different areas. Does that make sense? So you're not going to have the tight stop losses on a 15-minute or even a 5-minute. They're going to be much bigger, right? But so why would you want to put yourself in that predicament where, to enter this trade, look at where what your risk to reward is, right? So we're just from this area, that's 600. That's almost $100 risk. You'll blow up your account, right? You see what I'm saying?
Well, I wouldn't have gone there. According to what you've taught us in the past, it was when it breaks the VWAP. So
right, but on a 2-minute time frame, we didn't break the VWAP yet. Well, now we did, yeah. Right.
Right. So, but I think what I understand right now, that's what I was trying to find out. Put aside what we've learned so far, and focus on the 2-minute. The ranges. You're trying to teach us how to trade and set ranges.
And that's, I know you have knowledge. I know most of you out there have some knowledge. And I don't want you to forget that. But what I want you to do is focus on the here and the now. Like what you're learning here. Because trust me, once we get through all this, I don't care what time frame you go on. I don't care whether you trade crypto, Forex, go back to penny stock land. It's not going to, penny stock land, it's going to be similar. But you're looking for a whole nother thing. And like I was saying earlier, I'm going to do a course on that also. I'm going to do boot camps, one on options, one on penny stock land, one on the equities market. I'm really not going to do anything on Bitcoin. I mean, on the crypto market. I do believe in the crypto market. I own a lot of crypto. I've been telling you guys that for a long time. But I just don't want to get involved in teaching the crypto market. But focus on what we're doing now because it's going to apply. It doesn't matter what time frame you go out to. It really doesn't. It's all going to be the same. The only thing that's going to be different is your risk to reward. All right? And maybe we'll do that. Maybe after we're trading for a month live, we'll start trading on the 5-minute. All right? We could do that. But just remember, a 5-minute chart is going to make each candle 5 minutes of trading, which is going to make your risk to reward so much bigger. Right? I mean, if you look at this, I mean, even these are just huge risk to rewards, right? Well, these are small candles, so they're really not 60. So yeah, it's 40 points, but we could do that. But just know, whatever it is that we're teaching, that I'm teaching you guys, it's gonna work. It's gonna be applicable on every single time frame. All right, so you could trade on the higher time frames, and I do that with the options. I'm usually typically I'm looking at the hourly chart to the 4-hour chart when I'm selling my options. All right, I'm not doing that on no 2-minute chart, but I'm looking at the weekly. There's a lot of things I look at when I'm selling the contracts because I'm selling them naked. I'm taking all that premium. I'm not doing butterflies, iron condors. I'm selling them 100% naked. I'm taking all that money, right? I'm an insurance salesman. And just like how many car accidents have you been in? How many times has your house burned down, right? These insurance companies make billions of dollars a year. And then just like now, what we're seeing in Florida, already, some of my friends that got flooded up to their roof, their insurances are denying it, right? And don't get me started on that. But anyway, that's why I sell naked options, because when you know what you're doing, very, very rarely are you going to have to pay out a claim. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. And I'm going to teach that in the options boot camp, but to sell them, you got to own 100 shares of a company. All right, so you can't, if you wanted to sell options, I would say buy GEMA. GEMA's still a relatively cheap stock. It went up a long time ago to like $35, and I told you guys to buy into that before that happened. Remember, I used to give you like stocks to buy, but GEMA was, it's still, I like the company, I like GEMA. But that, if you had money, you could sell options on that. But I personally wouldn't sell options on GEMA. I would do that only on reputable companies that aren't going anywhere, that are going to be around, that are going to be able to weather the storms that come, stuff like that. So this right here is a nice little pattern that I like to see. Well, it's now that I'm opening it up, it's not. But typically when you get 4 candles in a row like that, it's a good place to go long. When you get like 4 bottoms and vice versa on the top. But I'm going to go, hey guys, I'm going to shut this down. But Russo, do you know what I'm saying? I understand 100% what you're saying, the 15-minute time chain. And I'm looking at that, off to my left. I'm looking at a lot of things, but that's just me. I'm used to my setups. I'm used to looking at a lot of information, but that's just the way that I trade. But everything that I'm looking at is here on this chart.
Well, I think what you made really clear is stay on the here and now, learn the range trading. Everything else will pull together, meaning the VWAP, the 20, the 200. We're focusing right now on setting ranges, and range trading is what I think I'm hearing.
Yes.
And that's great.
And when you remember when we were trading the penny stocks, the reason why the volume weighted average price doesn't matter in penny stock land, you don't even need it on your chart, because there's no real money in penny stocks, right? The only money that's there is 80 million traders trading a penny stock, and then a hedge fund will see it go from $2 up to $50, and then they'll take $2 billion to short it back down. So the VWAP is totally irrelevant in penny stock land. I taught you guys to use it because that's what I use to trade regular stocks with, if that makes sense. But there's no money in penny stock land other than the army of degenerate traders that trade them. And I don't want to say that in a bad way, because I trade them. I do trade them. I haven't traded them since I went away to do this for you guys, right? But once we get over this, I'll go trade live penny stocks with you guys again, right? We could do that again, but just know the volume weighted average price is, the banker's line. And penny stock land, it really makes no difference whatsoever, unless it's something that turns into AMC or GMC, because what are penny stocks, right? They're garbage companies, that are usually next to a 7-Eleven in Chicago somewhere. If you pull up on Google, that's where their address is, right? And they just stay down here. They're only morning runners. That's it. Within a couple of days, unless you get those ones that kind of hang around, the ones that tend to hang around are the ones you want to watch. All right, those you could start putting some real technical analysis in. But the penny stocks are great for the 20. The 20 period moving average are great for penny stocks. And these kind of areas are great for penny stocks, but a lot of times you're just going to get those fake outs, right? In penny stock world. But yeah, the 20 period moving average.
I have no interest in trading penny stocks.
Yeah.
I'll keep learning what you're teaching. It's great.
And once you learn this, I'm going to put a boot camp together for that, because it is a whole nother ball game. But, this is something now that I get to teach you that I couldn't teach you before, because we never really focused on real stocks. We were just doing the penny stocks then, and it was just a nightmare. So, yeah, like I said, you'll, with the 3 trades and all that garbage, it's just, if you really want to make money, we're in the right spot. I spent a lot of time going through different platforms, and I even traded Forex, but, with the Forex, I didn't like it because, again, you could trade so many different currencies and pairs, and Forex, this is $1 billion industry. The Forex market is $1 trillion industry. But this, trading the NASDAQ, out of all the futures markets, the NASDAQ is the most liquid. So you're never going to have a problem getting into a position. You're never going to have a problem getting out of a position. You're not going to have those problems with the NASDAQ. All right? Outside of Forex, this is the number 2 most heavily liquid market in the world. So you're never going to run into that issue. But yeah, just let's focus on what we're doing here, going forward. I want you guys to learn the ranges, right? Get to learn those ranges. Here we're coming up to that 8:30. Here's the time frame right now. So what do we do? I mean, we're really far away from this. But notice if you look to the left, we have a super range, right? We got a super range forming. So are we just range bound today? So keep that in the back of your mind. If you're trading, the stocks, options, whatever, just notice you could clearly see we're in a range right now, right? We have that little break above right here. We got the little break above. So if we're going to range like this, here's your little break below, right? So just keep that in the back of your mind. I would imagine, right? I really seriously think we're going to see a big move today. But sometimes when they do this kind of stuff, they'll just play around until later in the day. And then when most traders are away, they'll start moving it, right? That's you'll see that every now and then. But all right, guys, we've been on here for an hour and a half. I'm going to jump off. Still want to work on that boot camp today. Have a great weekend, guys. Watch some of the videos over the weekend. Take some, take some time. Look at the charts. Even if you go back, go back. Now I just moved that, but mark off some ranges. Go back and say, find a range, right? And whether you trade it or not, mark it off. Send it to me in a chat or something. Just say, hey, is this a range? Would I have bought this bar here? Put my stop here, and we could go from there. I could work with you guys like that, right? But just spend some time and just looking at the charts, all right? Even if it's on the weekend or whatever. The futures market opens at 6 o'clock on Sunday. I wouldn't recommend trading it then. If you're going to trade it, they're open a lot, but the trading's not hot, right? Trading is really good at 3, from 3 until 10:30.
All right. You have a great day. Thank you for everything you're doing.
Oh, you're very welcome, guys. God bless y'all and have a great weekend, and I'll see you Monday.